final day of our round 2 weekend here with the Mission Foods Speed Tour. A lot of great activity coming your way here this afternoon and this morning. Sun has just coming up here in the North Georgia mountain area. Beautiful shot there looking down over the Cube 3 architecture S's here. You can see some fog rising up out of the hillside, the sun coming up from the west, which is to our left here in the broadcast booth, and it blinds you as you're going down the front straightaway. Sun basically coming up right as you're headed down towards Mission Foods turn number 1. I'm Ralph Shaheen alongside Ben Sissel, and Cal Denice is with us as well as we get ready for our first category of racing here today. Cal?
Yes, real excited. As you mentioned, it's a little cool out. Luckily no wind, but beautiful weather. These Hankook tires will take a little bit of time to heat up, so we'll watch the lap times kind of tumble as the race gets going. Yeah, so on this outlap, you can see everybody kind of scrubbing. Really, they're going to be doing some aggressive braking to get some heat into the brakes, which will radiate into the tire as well. And as that tire heats up, it's going to soften up, giving them a little bit more grip.
And Hankook has been a great partner with us. This is the PSSA presented by Hankook. This is a split start with SVRA Group 5, 7, 9, 11, and PSSA. PSSA is coming down, and Cal Denice is our PSSA expert. He's an employee at Sebeco that makes a lot of these cars just down the road, but we also have Revolutions, Radicals, some Elans, some Panos. There's a lot of different cars that are available, and we're trying to even work those new Russias into this PSSA. They came with us at COTA, and they had a lot of them, and I think this series here could be a lot of fun because these cars are relatively inexpensive. There's parts everywhere, but the driving, it just looks like a lot of fun to race in this series as the lights go out. So we'll get into that, Cal, but the lights are going to go out, so I'm going to hand it off to the motorsports legend of Ralph Shaheen to take us to the first green of the day.
Whoa, did you see that one car going down?
Everybody's trying to get into those tires right now, and like I said,
it's going to be a blind start, really. They're going to assume the green flag is waving as they come out of 12, because I'm telling you, the sun is right in their eyes as we go green here at Road Atlanta and head towards Mission Foods, turn number 1, Cal.
Yes, and looks like the cars are fanned out a little bit. We just have a clean start going up the hill. You see all the Sebecos start fanning out a bit, and as they enter those S's, those famous S's here, those Revolutions again with that PS1 category a little bit quicker, and we got some side-by-side action back in the pack. That looks like Goebel Newsom and possibly Sterling Hamilton going side-by-side. So somebody getting a little bit of heat in their tires early. It looks like feeling confident through that section.
And with the shade, there's so much shade, so the track temperature is going to probably go up about 20 degrees from now until the next probably hour and a half.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It should be a day in the upper 60s here in the Brazelton, Georgia area. We're about an hour north of Atlanta, just south of the South Carolina border. Pass coming up the inside here, Cal.
Yeah, and it looks like that might be Rafe Baskin possibly pulling off driver's right a little off the pace. So we'll see what happens there. And up front, a great battle there with Zach Mosley and John Field. Again, John, and as they come down the hill, he's taking a lunge up the inside. There we go.
Field making the move to the inside, makes it work through that very challenging turn 12, and Field is your new race leader.
Zach Mosley gave him the line there. I think Zach knew that he was coming up, and I don't know if John Field letting his tires warm up a little bit more, but here's the battle here as they come into Mission
there we
Foods.
go, 3 wide, heading down. It looks like Goebel Newsom up the inside, and wow, 2 for 1. Excellent move there as Sterling gets a little wide, manages to hang on there. Great racing.
The big loser in all that was Taylor. Taylor in the 20 lost about 3 positions in that one entrance into Mission Foods turn number 1.
That's right. Yes, and again, that Radical is a PS2 car. He's going to have a little bit more power than these Sebecos, but looks like looks like we've got a car down pit lane. So I'm not sure.
Oh, one off the track, gathers it back up here. That blue machine there, that's the 95 Mosley.
Oh, the 95A, so that one's going to be Sterling Hamilton. Oh, and still another little tire dropped off there. And that turn 7 was a tricky one yesterday for everybody, so glad Goebel can hold on there. And again, as these tires come up to 10, you see the lap times tumble, but it's a great mid-pack battle right there in that PS3 field.
So there's the leader, Fields. You can tell that by that flat. The Evo has that flat rear spoiler. I saw that with Ron Fletcher at Spring Mountain. Then the other Revolutions have that kind of reverse dihedral. And then these are the Sebecos here, the tin top cars. That's the Radical there, the number 20. But I don't fully know, and I should, the difference between PS1, PS2. Can you explain that to the audience?
Yeah, so PS1 really has a lot of cars that can run in it. Everything from the SR10s to, I believe even the Pragas can run. I don't know if we've seen any Pragas out here yet, but the Revolutions are primarily represented here in PS1. They're going to get a lot more power. They're a lot quicker. They are the fastest category. The PS2, you're going to see a lot more of those radical, the radical 1500s, the SR3 1500, which is the same chassis as the SR3 1340, just with a little bit more power, and that's where they end up. Oh, and there we go. Sterling has gone around. Oh, let's hope he can get out of there. Yeah. Possibly, he might be beached.
Yeah.
He's beached. It's hard to get out of there.
That's in an impact area, which means
Yep.
they will probably have to double yellow that one. But until then, they're still racing.
Mm-hmm. So Madison just dove up the inside. He's a local here to Atlanta. And again, Charlie Locklear out front of that pack there, chasing down that Radical 1500.
And you could see even there, Ralph, just the changes in the sunlight, in the shade, and it's hard to even adjust the cameras because it's going from shade to sunlight like that.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for a while as everything settles down. Newsom in the 99 right there, the red, black, and white.
Here comes the safety car, but who is this with the car with the orchids on the side of it? I like that.
So that is going to be Seth Henry. So he, as they come by here, you can see that crazy wrap job. Yes, it's I believe it was designed by his mom.
Okay.
And so it's going to be more of that golden color. So we look to see them as a series regular this year. And,
well, that's awesome.
He, again, was the series champion last year for the Ginetta Challenge, and he's also running Lamborghini Super Trofeo this year with Wyatt Foster out of that Kaizen camp. So
there's Ben's favorite car.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Z right there. Him and Michael Pritchard there. They're both local up near VIR and run at the club track there at VIR, and they're good friends and run together a bunch. So good to see them out here.
So they should be able to get the car out of the beach there at turn 5, and what that means is everything's going to back up. The tire temp is going to go down just slightly, but the pace car did not catch the leader, so I'm not sure if the pace car is going to go try to catch the leader. Now, sometimes the safety crew will unhook and let the car continue, and it just depends on how much gravel that car collected. But we do have a black flag out, so I think hopefully race control is going to try to reorganize everybody down in pit lanes so that the leader can actually take the green.
Yep, and this is going to be important because the feature race this year is going to have a tire contingency from Hankook. So last year it was just a series prize, but this year they're offering a tire contingency for the racers, and we're excited to see that. But that's going to be really crucial with those tires on the line to get this order right.
Plenty of gravel underneath the 95 right now as they pull them off the beach there.
And you can still see they're trying to keep heating those tires. Again, one of the best ways to do that is going to be under braking. So we saw a few of those lockups on the opening laps as everybody was trying that. We'll see. Looks like Sterling's going to get going. He's probably going to try and shake as much of that gravel out as possible.
Look at it all dropping out.
Yeah. And, yeah, luckily he's being a good sport. He's driving offline so that he can keep as much of that gravel off the racing line as possible. And, you know, those splitters up front of the Sebeco is hollow, so a lot of that gravel can kind of collect in there. So he's going to try and shake that out a bit. But the good thing about these cars, if you end up in the kitty litter, is all the body panels come off. It's real easy to clean out, so you don't have to worry about too much of that. Again, it looks like the Revolutions have caught the back of the field, so we'll see as they come down pit lane where they reshuffle everybody and make sure we can get everybody where they need to be.
Yeah, this is going to be kind of fun to watch the reshuffling. I'm listening to race control in my right ear, and they're saying come down into pit lane, and then you can see the grid officials out there ready to kind of reshuffle them back into order. And hopefully the car that was in the beach isn't going to be dragging around a bunch of gravel and we could probably get this thing back up and running pretty quickly.
Yep, and so Goebel Newsom, again, was our series champion last year, so he's leading the pack right in front of Seth Henry, that Kaizen Autosport car. Kaizen, again, has a huge field of Janettas, but they're also getting into the world of PSSA with us. And behind them, we've got the PS2 car of that Radical SR3 1500 as they pass by in front of us. I think I'd rather be in a closed cockpit today with it being as cold as it is.
Yeah. We were talking about warming up the tires. I think part of it is warming up the driver, right?
That's true. Yes, so the early generation of the car did not have it, and originally when we started racing with WRL, the light was added for visibility with the other GT cars, and so the early generations didn't have it built in, so some of the guys had to retroactively put that in. As you'll see on the 95A car as it passes by, that one was sort of added, versus if you look at the Kaizen car with Seth Henry, you'll see it's more built in. And so once that was something that was mandated by the series, then we found a way to make it as aerodynamic as possible.
I think it's kind of a cool idea to really make things more visible as you're working your way through the field, right?
It is, and a lot of the guys really enjoy it. In fact, PSSA this year is now requiring a front-facing light of some kind, whether it's going to be whether it's headlights or a top light, something that's going to help with that visibility, just so that when we're interacting with those vintage cars with the other classes, again, it just helps with that visibility.
So you can see them sweeping there at 7. Now we're trying to rearrange the order. You see Chelsea Miller there over in the right with the pink hat. That's our grid chief, so she's putting John Fields up front, doing a pretty good job because there's not a lot of room to get these cars around there, but it looks like they've got them. There's Skip Clark. There's Ben Ramirez. So it looks like everything is working. I didn't know if I have any of my punk rock fans out there that noticed my Black Flag logo at Black Flag. That was pretty prominent. See if any punk rock fans are out there that can
see that.
quote us some Black Flag songs. But, yeah, we like to have some fun here. So I put that on that Black Flag sign just to see who noticed. So there are a few punk rock fans in our paddock. I like that.
And so, Cal, there's probably some folks watching this PSSA racing this morning who maybe have never experienced it before, seeing the cars, recognizing how cool they look, how much fun they must be to drive. If I was intrigued in getting involved in this category of racing, A, what would be the ladder up to it? What's the proper way to get to it? And then B, what am I looking at cost-wise?
So we see a variety of people come into the car. Usually it's not their first ever race car. Funny enough, we get a lot of people coming from Caymans, GT4 based cars. It's a similar lap time, just produced differently. We also get guys coming up from, the lower Formula ranks. Even Sterling Hamilton in that 95A came from SCCA with the FE2. And, we see people who are from that single-seater route that'll make the jump over, and they're trying to progress to, let's say, LMP3 or 2 and go the IMSA route, as well as, again, Seth Henry out there coming from the Janetta class over, looking for another similar spec series. Cost-wise, the cars start about $100,000 and go up a little bit from there based on different options that you can put on the car. And really, while the upfront cost is a little higher than most people might think for that car, it's the operating expenses that are really low. We're able to run these tires a long time, and we run 93 pump gas, so you're not putting race fuel into the engine. It's a very long intervals on the gearbox, the engine, so it's a very low operating expense.
They're very reliable.
That shot right there gives you a great look at the Revolution, as that halo system on the Revolution is different than what many folks are used to seeing with halos in IndyCar and Formula One these days, where the bar is straight down the center. I kind of like those 2 bars off to the sides a little bit like that.
Yeah.
Seems like it gives you more visibility.
It definitely gives you more of that A-pillar or something you might be more standard. And, again, you see those helmets. Those guys, they'll run very, very nice helmets when you're in those open cockpit cars to make sure that nothing coming up from the track, like any of those rocks from the gravel trap or anything, coming up, you want to make sure you've got those ABP helmets. 8860s are great, which is the same standard that they use in Formula One.
If you're willing to buy yourself a new set of tires, Ben, get the better helmet.
Yeah, I think Bell would always say, get a $10 helmet for your $10 head.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Mm-hmm.
how much is your head worth?
You know what's great with that Bell thing is if people aren't familiar with SVRA, they do that golden helmet, which is always something that the drivers are going for. You can see that beautiful 7-Up car.
Yeah.
It looks awesome. Dr. Z there.
And the Tic Tac, like you were saying, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, very familiar if you're a Formula One fan to Eddie Jordan's first edition race cars with Michael Schumacher.
It looks like they might have stalled it possibly.
So is Sebeco still making these cars?
Yes.
How often, like how many are you rolling out?
We can do about 15 to 20 a year.
Wow.
They are hand built to spec, and from there, once we build them, again, we are located right down the street. We are at every PSSA race providing trackside support, so not just parts support, but technical support as well. And
a little different with the cup cars off to the right. Prototypes are rolling by.
Mark Clark, our SVRA entry into this, was last year's champion. So he's out there in the 5A S2. And these S2s, they don't look in this series. Like they look like
Yeah.
but there were some cars out there that, like the Group 9 Indy Lights car, that did look a little bit different. But you can see there from the drone the shadows, and the shadows are going to be changing, and the track temperature is just going to be drastically changing throughout the day.
It's going to be changing in this booth as well, because that sun that's coming up to our left is suddenly going to go right across the front of this booth. And there's going to be a cooker in here this afternoon.
And it does look like Charlie Locklear in that 100 was able to get back fired. He may actually have a little bit of an advantage on the start because he's going to be trying to catch that field, getting a little bit more heat into his tires. So we'll check and see how he comes through at the start. But again, these guys, really the best thing to do is just use those brakes, try to get as much heat into the brake system to heat up the tire from the inside out.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize is it's going back and forth is good, but the brakes actually heat the wheel that heats the tire quicker.
Correct. So,
but they're coming to green, I think, here. Yeah, Ralph, they're coming to green.
Sure are. Pace car is off, and we are back into the throttle. Here we come, screaming out of turn number 12, up the front straightaway. Oh, we're going to have a challenge for the lead. Leader's going to lose 2 spots going into Mission Foods turn number 1. Cal, he struggled all of a sudden about halfway down the front straightaway.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there for him, but John...
It happened on last start as well.
Yeah, John might just be in the wrong gear for that start, but it is a chance for him to run back through those cars up front. Looks like Goebel had a good jump in the PS3 class, but Seth Henry has closed that gap up already, and we'll see that battle for the lead for those guys continue to shake out.
And with that being in a new car for John Fields, maybe he's just not totally familiar with what's going to happen with the tire temperatures, and he did come in, so he may be making a good move of just kind of playing it safe and letting everything feel good for him. Because going into turn 1, Mission Foods turn 1 here, it does get a little bit hairy.
And he did have a mechanical at the end of the race yesterday. Didn't quite find out what happened there, but he may be a little bit down on power right now, so he's definitely dropped back. And Zach Mosley is back out in front, running hard, and Chris right behind him is keeping him honest. And I believe Chris was actually the series champion for PSSA last year. He runs a lot of these events in that Revolution, and it does appear as though John is pulling into pit lane. So
yeah,
not sure what happened there, but
well, that's a shame. He was certainly quick. Watching these Revolutions, especially coming down through the Cube 3 architecture S's here at Road Atlanta, boy, you can just, yes, they're smaller, but you can kind of remember back to the days of Can-Am here at Road Atlanta, and you can imagine Fulmer and Donahue and Hurley just ripping down through
Yeah.
there, and what that must have been like.
And right there, Madison Prince in that Sebeco is really pushing Keith hard. You see Keith's just wiggling around a little bit. We do produce a little bit more downforce than those guys, so as those tires heat up, hopefully Keith will get back up to pace where he should be. But Madison's really driving hard, keeping him on his toes there.
What engine platform is in a Sebeco?
So we run a 2-liter Mazda MZR motor, which is out of the NC Miatas, and it's got a mild build done by Chris over here at Elan Power Sports. And so the engines are all sealed, keep everybody even. And
Good for how many races?
you know, you can go multiple seasons. Last year, the
Really,
guy,
before rebuild.
oh yes, we had the series champ for NASA last year. I think was somewhere around almost 250 hours on his engine, and,
Wow.
and won the NASA championship with it.
Wow,
So
that's awesome.
we typically see a little bit of a dip in power around 150 hours, but that's still a lot of runtime.
Yeah.
So again, these cars do well in the endurance series. They're kind of overbuilt for that.
But
And
that is something to consider when you're looking at building or buying a race car, that maybe your entry point may be a little bit higher than you're comfortable with, but then your race budget goes way down.
It's going to be more
because-
manageable.
Yeah.
yeah, we see technically that LMP3, the JSP 315s, the Ginetta G58s. A lot of those cars are eligible for the PS1 category, and the used price of those LMP3 cars are coming down, especially with the new JSP 325 coming out. But while the upfront cost may be similar to those LMP3s, it's the operating expense that really makes a big difference.
Zach Mosley still ahead of Chris Hinojosa. We have Mark Clark back there, our lone SVRA entrant. But they're coming down into Mission Foods turn 1, and I'm hearing white flag next time by on our leader currently on the board.
And he has opened up a pretty healthy lead, almost 7 seconds now over Hinojosa.
And you see the line that Zach takes through there. He doesn't really track out wide left. That's all that downforce is going to give him a lot of grip through there. And he's going to hug right so that he can straighten up that entry into the braking zone for turn 2, 3, and really exaggerate that entry to straighten it up. So again, these downforce cars may not track out as wide as you may see with like a Global MX-5 Cup car or something. And that's just to straighten up that braking zone as much as possible.
Yeah, we will see a lot of tracking out in our next group of stock cars, Group 6, Group 10. So right now we're seeing some downforce cars. Now there's Seth Henry in the Orchid car, and he is in second in the Sebecos. Is that correct? Because you do have your own championship within this championship.
That is correct. So we treat our championship sort of like a Bronze Cup in IMSA, where we run with PS3, and
Whoa!
a little lock up there,
For
and
Henry.
good recovery there. And I know that not a lot of laps remaining. I believe on the board it's saying 6, but we see the white flag coming out right here for Zach Mosley.
Yep, there it is. One more tour around the 2.54 mile circuit here at Road Atlanta.
And again, Zach taking that exaggerated line to the right-hand side. And that seems to be working really well for him there. It does look like the track temps are starting to come up as these guys, the lap times continue to fall. Still not quite where they were qualifying-wise, but Seth Henry is closing in on Goebel. This is going to be a great battle to the finish here, as just about 2 car lengths separate them as they go up the hill out of turn 1.
Mosley getting ready to come out of 7 and start making his way back out to the finish line. Out to that long back stretch here. It kind of winds through the countryside here.
And this is such a critical turn right there. Turn 5 at Road Atlanta, especially in these cars. It's a long run, especially up that hill. You don't realize how steep that hill out of 5 is. But turn 6 has just enough of a braking zone to get underneath somebody, so it's really critical to get a good one there.
And it's about a 100+ foot climb up that hill Here's the checkered flag waiting for Mosley. You see him coming off at 12. Checkered flag, and the win goes to Mosley. Hinojosa, we're just waiting for him to make his way into view, coming out of under the bridge. Here he comes. It's a healthy gap between first and second in just a handful.
But where are the Sebekos? Because this is the close one right here.
There we go. That's the last real opportunity. It looks like he's going to be just a little bit too far back. But, wow, what a close battle. There might even be just a hair of damage on the right side of Goebel's car. You see that floor with just a little bit of piece hanging off. Great run here to the finish. Goebel's able to hang on under the checkered flag. Well done to both of those guys. And they are right now neck and neck in our championship for the Sebeco Championship. They were both down at Sebring and ran. Oh, it looks like Madison Prince has pulled off on the last lap. He was in that final podium spot, which gives it, I believe that's going to promote Harry Colson onto the podium again. He was a series regular for us, last season. And I'm not quite sure if Madison knew he was in that final spot as he came into pit lane.
You were talking about Can-Am here, and Phil Manson was here at the first race with Tony Dean in that Porsche. Beat all the McLarens, which was a crazy race. We have a video of that on our SVRA YouTube page, the 1970 Can-Am ground pounders with Formula Vs of all things.
Yes.
But here's our results, Ralph.
Zach Mosley, Chris Hinojosa, Goebel Newsom, Seth Henry, and Keith Taylor rounding out the top 5, with Goebel Newsom taking the win in the Sebeca class.
Yeah, and that's great for Goebel and Seth. This is going to keep that championship alive. We run 6 race weekends for our championship series, and we are excited. It's a dual race weekend every weekend, so 12 races total for us, and they seem to be swapping those wins back and forth. Guys, thank you so much for having me up here. I'm going to get down and as always, I appreciate the invite and look forward to seeing you guys.
Great seeing you, Cal. Take care. All right. We've got more racing coming your way here shortly from Road Atlanta. As the stock cars are getting ready to roll out, there's a Casey Kane, Ray Evernham, number 9.
This is going to be fun. You know, I love having these guys here. The historic stock car group.
This was the race before, just on the warm-up lap. He's trying to heat those tires up, and this one got pretty interesting pretty quick. Some good battles deeper in the field in the early stages. Watch this pass on the front straightaway here. Ben, this was pretty nice move up the inside. And then the off-track excursion kept it going.
It's off there.
No, then the spin off into the beach.
That poor Radical was in the thick of it all race long.
Yeah, it sure was.
Cool shots from the drone here over the S's, but this is now going to be the SVRA Group 6 10 12A race. We've got a lot of the historic stock cars here with us. I have not yet seen our friend Awesome Bill from Dawsonville, Georgia, join us. He's usually here with this group. But we've got Jack Finch. There's Wolsifer, Rick Wolsifer, and that 2014 Chevrolet Camaro, the Howe chassis. Then the Boss 302. That is my son's favorite vintage car there. That is
a beautiful car.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, take care of some business, and when we come back, these guys will be out on the track ready to go racing. Stay with us.
is this? Look at this view from Losowski.
It brings all my fans, it brings the audience into the car with me.
Speed turn, 140-mile-an-hour entry speeds.
The quickest and most efficient way for me to get information to my drivers is from using the V-Box HD2 system.
There's Boris said.
One of the ways you overtake here at Sebring is really good in the braking zone, like this one right here.
Both go around. There's the green. We are back and at it. Watch this. Oh, look out, Miller, look out.
Welcome back to Road Atlanta, getting ready to go with our next class of cars here. And we've got another handful of groups out here, Ben.
Yeah, this is SVRA split grid for race 2, group 6, group 10, 12A, and our historic stock cars. So the historic stock cars look like they're going to go out first, and then we're going to do a split class. So there's Ricky Bobby with the Fig Newtons on the windshield. You gotta like that, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a great movie. So we've got Jack Finch starting up front in the number 40 Dodge Charger. Starting second in that Rusty Wallace car. The 1993 Pontiac Grand Prix is Jeff Rocco. Third is Ryan Thompson in a 2006 Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Scott Frazier is in that Car of Tomorrow 2008 Dodge Charger. The Casey Kane car, I believe. Brent Bernath is in the 2006 Ford Fusion. Carlos Gann in that 1987 $1 million Bill Elliott Ford Thunderbird. Victor Corda is in a 2009 Ford Mustang. Mark Gobble in the 2006 Dodge Charger. Terry Mathis. This is where we split it, actually. So that's it for the stock car. Now we split it. So Group 10 GT is Terry Mathis in 9th. John Gray is in a Porsche 991. Derek Carter in a Ford Mustang GT 500 of 2000, year 2000. Stephen Thomas is in a Porsche Cayman. Rick Wolsifer in that 2014 Howe TA2 car. Renee Tersilla in a 2017 Ford Mustang FP350. Kurt Vogt in that beautiful Boss 302. Tim Bowder in a Ford FP350S. Paul Toombs in a Chevrolet Camaro SS, the 1967 white Chevrolet Camaro. Dan Schlickenmeyer in a 2007 Ford Mustang. Bruce Raymond in his TA2 car with the snake eyes. Chris Boutier in a 2014 Ford Mustang Boss 302. Mark Sandridge in his Porsche Cup car, and Steve Yarborough in that beautiful 66 Chevrolet Corvette. It's quite a eclectic group of cars out there.
It really is, and unfortunately, I don't think all of the NASCAR machinery made the call. I don't see the Elliott car anywhere. And then there's 2 Rusty Wallace number 2s here this weekend, and only the Pontiac is out, not the Dodge.
So Ricky Bobby pulling right up there next to Rusty Wallace. Who's the 40 car?
Sterling Marlin.
Sterling Marlin. Awesome. Here they come.
Tennessee's Sterling Marlin, whose dad had one of the all-time greatest names, Cuckoo. Green flag, and we're racing here at Road Atlanta. Here comes our second wave, coming through mission turns 10A and 10B. Be popping out under the bridge here momentarily, and they'll be underway. Here they come. That pace car exits as well. Corvette on the inside, Porsche on the outside. Oh, and the Corvette spins, coming off of 12 and into the wall, back into traffic. Oh, no. Well, issues here on the front straightaway as they're having to clean up that situation. I don't know, Ben, if you just maybe tires weren't warm enough coming down the hill and got on the throttle and around.
Yeah, that's
all
I can think of. And it is kind of slick there on the inside lane.
Yeah.
And the Corvette hit and just kind of came across the track. Safety crews are out there right now.
All right, well, while they take care of that, we're going to go ahead and step away and take care of some business so that when we're ready to go back to racing, we can show you every lap. Stay with us.
Under acceleration, it's very difficult to stop in time to avoid the car. So a situation here on the front straightaway.
Yes! Hon, the WeatherTech's here.
WeatherTech is the ultimate protection for your vehicle. Laser measured floor liners, no drill mud flaps, cargo liner, bump step, seat protector, and cup phone.
What about my car?
WeatherTech.
Performance packs 100 years of friction dynamics into every product. Backed by Carlisle Brake and Friction, the world's premier innovator of industrial brake and friction components, Hawk leverages R&D tools and motorsports experience to deliver uncompromising performance on the street. There's no reason to settle for less. Choose pads that are race proven and street legal. Find the Hawk Performance Brake dealer near you at hawkperformance.com.
What does it mean to be built with Summit? It means you're hitting the autocross, drag strip, road course, trail, dirt, or open road with confidence. Because built with Summit means you're using parts from the top names in performance, priced to make your project affordable. And it's all backed by trusted tech expertise and blazing fast shipping. Summit Racing Equipment. Let's build it together. SummitRacing.com.
How good is this? Look at this view from Losowski.
It brings all my fans, it brings the audience into the car with me.
Speed turn 140-mile-an-hour entry speeds.
The quickest and most efficient way for me to get information to my drivers is from using the V-Box HD2 system.
Kind of composes things, and oh, he rockets by Sima. There's Boris said.
One of the ways you overtake here at Sebring is really good in the braking zone, like this one right here.
Both go around. There's the green. We are back and at it. Watch this. Oh, look out, Miller, look out.
The NOLA Speed Tour returns to NOLA Motorsports Park March 28th through the 30th, featuring the Sports Car Vintage Racing Association with CVAR, Formula Regional Americas, F4 U.S. Championship, Ligier JSF4,